Welcome back, friends. You're just in time for the Johnny Brew Show.
What's going on, everybody? My name is John Brookhagen, and I'm the host of The Johnny Brew Show. Welcome to another episode. And in this episode, I think I'm going to be warning you about people like myself. There is a fight against misinformation. Not false information, but misinformation, which has yet to be defined, even though it's become part of the vernacular, especially coming from the White House podium. Now, let me be clear. When they say we have the right to bear arms, not only does that mean that the government can't come and take your guns, but it means that they can't go to the mailman and the mailman's the government. They can't go to the gun store and tell them to take your guns. When they say that you don't have to have no boarding, the Third Amendment, that no soldiers can be forced to live in your house. No government soldiers can be forced to live in your house. That also means that the government can't tell a militia group to have their militia members live in your house. All right? It seems as though they're trying to find loopholes to your rights. And now misinformation is the newest one. They don't say what misinformation is. Right now, they're concentrating on misinformation that is causing vaccine hesitancy. But the more they shut people up, the more hesitancy becomes. But in their fight, I don't know, again, I still don't know why they're I understand getting everybody over 65 years old vaccinated. Getting anybody between the ages of 25 and 65 with a pre-existing condition, such as a cancer survivor, severe asthma, diabetes, overweight, smokers. I can understand a push to get them vaccinated. I don't understand this push to get 75% of our overall population vaccinated, whether you've had COVID or not, or no matter how old or young or healthy or vulnerable you are to this disease. That makes people feel like this isn't about science. It's really about, or it seems to be about, simply getting as many vaccines out there as possible. That seems to be the one and only objective. So, we've been having problems with big tech, whether you're talking about YouTube censoring Ian Bain's last episode of Ian is Right from the No Mask Nevada Pack, or you're talking about, the doctors in lab coats outside the Capitol explaining the benefits of certain medicines in combinations with certain other medicines. Or you're talking about physical people who are explaining the benefits of working out and having a good cardiovascular system to fight this disease. But the argument from all the progressives was, oh, aren't you a capitalist? Don't you believe in freedom? And, they're a free company and they could decide to censor anything they want. Which, no, that takes away their 230 protection, number one. Number two, they said they were the new platform for the exchange of ideas. But we were having trouble arguing with that because it's up to Mark Zuckerberg. It's up to Jack Dorsey what we're allowed to post. It wasn't the government suppressing your speech until we find out it is the government suppressing our speech. You want evidence? Play tape.
Of misinformation specifically on the pandemic. In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government. We've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation. We're working with doctors and medical professionals to connect to connected medical experts who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping get trusted content out there.
All right. Well, first of all, sorry about the audio problems. If you didn't catch the first part, she's explaining that there's people in the administration who are in constant contact with these social media providers, talking about what information they do or don't want. Can you just play the last, can you go back to that and just play the last 5 seconds? She said something. I wanted to say something about it. And I have no short-term memory. Just the last, yeah, right there.
Who are popular with their audiences with accurate information and boost trusted content. So we're helping
trusted content. That's what I was looking for. And you know, Thomas Sowell put it best. He said it's not what's for the good of the country that is the problem. It's who is deciding what is good for the country that's the problem. Who is deciding what is trusted content? Why is somebody at Facebook who's 23, 27 years old, no real life experience, able to censor a doctor who's been practicing for 25 years and this is their field of study and they're an expert? Why is it just doesn't make sense to me. And the government is saying they are in constant contact discussing what should and should not be disseminated on their platforms. That is absolutely an infringement on my freedom of speech. I have had things deleted. I know just about each and every one of you watching this podcast has had something deleted. And in almost every case, it was unfounded. Even the New York Post, the nation's oldest newspaper, got censored by Facebook, a company that's been around for less than 20 years. Like 15 years we've had Facebook. Most of the kids who worked there were too young to even be on Facebook when it first came out. They're like 25, 30 years old. Yet the nation's oldest newspaper gets censored by these kids. These doctors in lab coats get censored by these kids. And now we find out it's not only these kids, it's agents in our government. You want to hear from one of these people on the Facebook oversight board? This is somebody who works for Facebook in Europe talking about how they do it and how impressed they are with themselves for suppressing the freedom of speech, not only here in America, but all over the world. Play tape.
And what we're trying to find, of course, I think many of us who are engaging in this conversation, is that middle road. How do you moderate content? And how do you find that balance between human rights and free speech, which is a human rights, but also other human rights, because obviously free speech is not an absolute human right. It has to be balanced with other human rights. And that is what the oversight is there to do. Until now, we have seen content moderation, as I said, from a select few in Silicon Valley, and ultimately Mark Zuckerberg has been moderating content. Now we have the oversight board, which is a completely new invention to do this work. And of course, I want to say that I think this is a very, very positive new way of doing it.
Oh, well, she says this is a very positive, way of doing it. They have oversight boards. Mark Zuckerberg personally deciding what you can and cannot say or hear or read or look at. And she brings up the most important point. You know, they say certain things like, oh, you can't yell bomb in a movie theater. First of all, that's a myth. You can say bomb in a movie theater. That's not actually against the law. It was a Supreme Court case, and it failed. Number two, she's saying you can't use your rights to infringe on the rights of others. I am 100% on board with that. That's the 9th Amendment, one of my favorite amendments. It says that you cannot utilize your God-given rights to infringe on the rights of somebody else. That's why, even though we have murder in America, freedom in America, you can't murder someone, because that would be infringing on their rights. So this is the argument she's using. But me talking about different treatments, or me talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, or me talking about the fact that, it wasn't an armed insurrection, these do not bring immediate threats to anyone. They do not endanger anyone, and they do not infringe on anybody else's rights. It is the free exchange of ideas and opinions. They're constantly trying, like I said, they're finding loopholes in order to take your rights away. And that's why that's why I am a believer in small government. All right? The more laws you have, the less freedom you have. Because police cannot, if you have over a certain amount of laws, police simply cannot enforce each and every single one of those laws to the letter of the law. And then how do they decide which laws they will implement, and which laws they will punish, and which people they will punish? And when they get that elasticity and decision making of which laws or which people they will prosecute, that is when you no longer have equal justice under the law. That's why, as a conservative, I want the least amount of laws possible. Keep it simple, stupid, KISS. But every time you come up with a new law and a new caveat and a new way to do it, the government is now enabled to pick and choose who they go after and what things they don't want infringed. And then when you see, I'm sorry, it's true, conservatives getting silenced and getting arrested for doing the same things that progressives are celebrated for, you start to see that we no longer have equal justice. Now, is this on the road to equity? Are we getting paid back because, 200 years ago, it was the other way around and, Democrats were getting arrested? I don't understand what the whole thing is. And finally, they have this whole new concept, this whole new oversight board on top of all the other oversight boards they have. Guys, with all this equity training, racial diversity, multiculturalism training, oversight boards for misinformation, do you realize I was calling on you guys in the last episode, and I'll do it again. I need an economist to come sit down with me on the Johnny Brew Show. Because not only do I have the questions I had from the last episode, but I also want to know, what effect is it going to have on our economy when all of this money is being budgeted for anti-racist training and oversight boards for misinformation? These things, first of all, like the anti-racist training, all this money is going into the hands of like 10 people who started these anti-racist companies to go around and speak at Budweiser or MLB. Also, these oversight boards, they're hiring, 20 people making $150,000 a year to go through your texts. And you know what else we haven't talked about in a long time? Don't you remember in February or March we found out that they have the United States Postal Service going through our social media posts? That story came and went. I know, why talk about that, right? Who cares? It's just the post office who's supposed to be delivering mail going through your social media posts to see if you're an extremist. And again, who decides what an extremist is? All right? But in case you didn't believe her, here's Psaki endorsing more big tech censorship.
Fighting for Facebook or other platforms to measure and publicly share the impact of misinformation on their platform and the audience it's reaching. Also with the public, with all of you, to create robust enforcement strategies that bridge their properties and provide transparency about rules. You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out.
Do you hear what she just said? Now, guys, I don't think you understand the implications of this, all right? And conservatives were saying, it's not the fact about gay people getting married that we're worried about. It's about the normalization and stuffing it down our throats later on. 10 years later, that's what's happening. It's not about having illegal residents not getting a driver's license so they can work. It's about them going to DMV, getting their names on the voter rolls. And they say, oh, that would never happen. 10 years later, it's happening. Now, I know you're going to call me a conspiracy theorist for this, but it's in black and white, and it's as obvious as the sun is round. I don't think that's the analogy I meant to make, but nonetheless. She says that if you get in trouble for misinformation on one social media platform, you should be banned from all the social media platforms. You see where this is going? This is going towards your social credit score. What happens now if I'm on YouTube and I'm telling you that I'm concerned about some of this stuff and they decide that I'm giving you misinformation. So then YouTube not only kicks me off, but then so does Facebook, so does Twitter. What about Yelp? What about PayPal? PayPal has a comment section in some of their things. What about Venmo? What about my bank? All of a sudden, how far does this go? Now, if I talk to you about how I don't think a 6-month-old should be getting an experimental vaccination, does that mean I'm no longer going to be able to buy a house because I can't have an account with Bank of America? Does this mean that I won't be able to use Google or Reddit or Yelp in order to find out where to get tutoring for my children? Does this mean that I won't be able to participate in a survey? Does this mean I won't be able to register online for something? Am I going to lose do I lose my email? I mean, how far does that go? I mean, anything could be that's social, could be classified as social media, whether you're talking about PayPal, Bank of America, Yelp, or Reddit, or whatever. So now she's saying that these media companies or these big tech companies should be sharing my information. And that if somebody disagrees with what I say, whether it's true or not, is not the case right here. The case right here is if I say something that my government doesn't agree with, regardless of whether it's true or not, I should be censored. And then wherever I got censored, the companies should share that information with other companies and they should censor me also. And I want to know, where are we living? China, Cuba, Venezuela, they don't have the freedom of speech, and it's going to be worse here than it is in China. There is no way that people in these tyrannical governments aren't looking at us with envy, saying, how are they pulling this shit against the American people who they thought would never fall for it? Guys, if you don't step up, we are going to lose our country. We need a red wave in 2022 and 2024. And I'm telling you right now, if we have the red wave, if we could get Curtis Silva and Lee Zeldin voted in New York, if we can get a true red Republican to replace Sisolak, if we could get a red legislature to get rid of these taxes, to get rid of these regulations, to get rid of this thumb on the neck of each and every American having to watch what they say in the public forum, how can we even be concerned about this stuff? You can say the earth is flat. You could say the earth is round. You could say Jesus is the Son of God. You could say Jesus never existed. You could say Jesus was some crazy dude who, said he was the Son of God, but he was just a crazy dude. You can say all that stuff. We live in America. You can say, I love Black Lives Matter. I love Antifa. I love the Proud Boys. I love the KKK. I love Woodrow Wilson. I love Teddy Roosevelt. I love Barack Obama. I love Donald Trump. I hate Donald Trump. I hate Barack Obama. You can say, we live in America. You can say that I don't want to take the vaccine because it has aborted baby parts. You can say, I don't want the vaccine because it's got nanobots that are going to eat my brain and turn me into a zombie. You can say that. We live in America. You could say the world is going to end tomorrow. You don't even have to tell the truth. I know. Do you get my point? My producer says she gets my point. I just want to make sure. You want one more example? You can say somebody's ugly, fat, racist, a jerk. You have the freedom of speech. Okay. All right. And in case you're not sure, what would happen if we really call Psaki out? All right, I promise you, this is the last time we're going to see Jen Psaki. Not that it's going to get any better, but this is the last Psaki clip I got for the weekend. Play tape.
Information and the announcement from yesterday. For how long has the administration been spying on people's Facebook profiles looking for vaccine misinformation?
Well, that was quite a loaded and inaccurate question, which I would refute.
How?
Well, Peter, first of all, as you know, we're in a regular touch with a range of media outlets. Let me finish. As we are in regular touch with social media platforms. This is publicly open information. People sharing information online, just as you are all reporting information on your news stations.
But okay, so these 12 people who you have on a list, 12 individuals, do they know that somebody at the Surgeon General's office is going through their profile?
I'm happy to get you the citation of where that comes from. There's no secret list. I will tell you that these are people who are sharing information on public platforms on Facebook, information that is traveling, is inaccurate. Our biggest concern here, and I frankly think it should be your biggest concern, is the number of people who are dying around the country because they're getting misinformation that is leading them to not take a vaccine.
But
young people, old people.
All right. You know, they're so hypocritical. Number one, the spying thing. Like I said, the post office is spying on your social media, which that's not their job, I thought. Second of all, they are spying on you. When they are looking at your stuff, without you knowing they're looking at you, when the government is looking through your stuff, even if it's public on social media, their observation of your actions is AKA spying. Number two, talking to the media, talking to Fox News, CNN, C-SPAN, whoever you're talking to, is different from talking to a social media company. Social media companies have Section 230 protection because they are not a publisher. So there's no need for you to be in touch with them. They're not writing or reporting the news. They are just a bulletin board where people stick their notes on. Number three, they're so concerned about people dying from misinformation, which we have zero stats on, but they're not concerned about people dying from taking the vaccine, which we do have stats on. And again, if a minuscule amount of people are dying from the vaccine, that doesn't mean the vaccine overall is unsafe. It could save more people than it kills. But the truth, the American people deserve the truth. Continue.
Kids, children, this is all being, a lot of them are being impacted by misinformation.
The big concern, though, I think, for a lot of people on Facebook is that now this is Big Brother watching you.
They're more concerned about that than people dying across the country because of a pandemic where misinformation is traveling on social media platforms.
Yes, 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 yes. 100. I am more worried about you taking away my freedom of speech than people considering using some other drug or some people deciding not to get the jab. whatever the case may be. I am 100% more concerned about losing my rights. All right? People have died for my God-given rights. People have died to create this nation free from tyranny, free from your government thumb. I am 100%, no doubt about it, more concerned about losing my God-given rights than people dying from misinformation. Can I make that any more clear? Play tape.
That feels unlikely to me. If you have the data to back that up, I'm happy to discuss it.
About things that are on Facebook, I looked this morning. There are videos of Dr. Fauci from 2020 before anybody had a vaccine, and he is out there saying there's no reason to be walking around with a mask. So is the administration going to contact Facebook and ask them to take that down?
Well, first, I think what Dr. Fauci has said himself, who's been quite public out there, is that science evolves, information evolves, and we make that available in a public way to the American people.
Exactly.
I have never seen any data to suggest that that the vaccines cause infertility. That is information that is irresponsibly traveling. Okay.
Just one more. Okay, about
She said right there, the science evolves. And how does science evolve? By the sharing of ideas. Like they're contradicting themselves. So I can't say something, but meanwhile, it might prove out to be true. And how can we not be better prepared when this truth becomes relevant and surfaced if we're not talking about it? It's absolutely mind-boggling and baffling. I don't understand how they could sit up there and contradict themselves. Hooray! How can they contradict themselves in the same sentence? And that's why our rights are set up the way they are. Sorry, play tape.
The science about the science evolving. Facebook used to block people from posting that COVID may have originated for a lab. That is something this president now admits is a possibility. So is there any concern that things you're trying to block or have taken down might someday turn out to be...
We don't take anything down. We don't block anything. Facebook and any private sector company makes decisions about what information should be on their platform. Our point is that there is information that is leading to people not taking the vaccine and people are dying as a result. And we have a responsibility as a public health matter to raise that issue. The responsibility we all have, the government, media, platforms, public messengers, to give accurate information.
She's talking out of both sides of her mouth. The beginning just said that she's in contact with the social media companies talking about which disinformation should or should not be allowed for the people to see. Then she says, well, we're not taking the content down. Facebook's taking it down. But damn it, they're taking it down because you told them to. You are the government and you're telling the only monopoly, biggest business company in the world to take shit down. And then you're going to say it's not you who's taking it down. WTF? What world are we living in? You constantly talk out of both sides of your mouth, and then you wonder why we don't believe you. And what does the commander-in-chief say about Facebook and misinformation? Surely he came to his senses the other day and finally said communism and socialism are failed methods of governance. So maybe he came to his senses and he's going to say, the American way is free speech, the freedom to exchange ideas and opinions no matter what, as long as they do not create an imminent chance of violence. Biden, what do you think about Facebook and misinformation?
What's your message to platforms like Facebook? They're killing people. I mean, it really, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated. And they're killing people.
Hyperbole much? Is this Jim Crow 4.0? 5.0? Is this Jim Eagle? So, just so you guys know, asking for voter ID on a mail-in ballot and having signature verification is the Civil War 2.0. It's the same thing as 550,000 Americans dying to end slavery, asking for voter ID. The same thing. Facebook is killing people with misinformation. Guys, I don't know. The only answer I have is a red wave, but with mass mailings of ballots and all these new rules about no voter ID, 24-hour drive-through voting for 2 months leading up to Election Day, and you don't even have to mail out your ballot by Election Day. If you mail it out before Christmas, we'll still count your vote. I don't know how the hell we're ever going to win an election again. I mean, if we win an election on November 15th, they're going to mail out 100,000 ballots. Biden, 100,000. Trump, 0. We need a red wave, and I don't know if we can possibly get it. We're headed towards you're going to find out what a real civil war is. And it's not a threat. It's a fear. It's a warning. It's something I'm scared of. I don't want to have a civil war. I don't want to fight. Even the biggest idiot Antifa progressive. I don't want to hurt anybody. Biden and Psaki and Fauci and Facebook and Instagram and Coca-Cola and NFL. You guys are creating where we'll only have one path. We're going to have to fight our way out of this. Now, I'm going to end this with a super pretty girl. She's so pretty. Biden got to hang out with her for half the day. Then he had to share her with Fauci. And they were taking pictures and playing with sunglasses. And I don't know if this is comedy hour, get sick hour, or I need a drink hour. But I found it, and I can't not share it. So let's take a little look at this. I forget the girl's name. She's some Nickelodeon star, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the vaccine in 10, 20 years. But what if people do die from it? What if people do become infertile from it? What if people do get deliberating brain disease from it? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. It's a possibility. How would she feel after doing this campaign where people undoubtedly are getting the vaccine because she is pushing it? Play tape.
Rodrigo tells you to get vaccinated. You get vaccinated.
Here's one that says, I got my first dose of the Fauci ouchie.
Hey, I'm Olivia Rodrigo.
And I'm Tony Fauci.
Today we're here in the White House and we're going to read some tweets about the vaccine.
All right, let's see what we got here. I'm taking an immunology course and I got an A on my last exam. My immediate thought was, wouldn't Dr. Fauci be proud of me? Absolutely. When you get vaccinated, your body makes an immune response that's going to protect you against the virus. So maybe this person can go and talk about the immunology of getting.
All right. Now, Fauci says maybe this person should talk about the immunology about getting the vaccine. What if this student talked about the immunology of getting COVID and recovering from it? They're both science and they're both probably true. Would you censor one thing but not the other, Fauci? Go ahead.
Getting vaccinated.
Heck yeah, I'm proud of them. Somebody said, Olivia Rodrigo to the vaccine clinic. Very true. All of the funny puns, as long as you're getting vaccinated, that's great. Whatever it takes.
I had a dream that I got the COVID-19 vaccine and met Dr. Fauci afterwards. I told him that I bought his bobblehead and he was super cool about it.
I saw your bobblehead today.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was great.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was great. It was amazing. This poor girl, you know, this girl doesn't even know the gravity of what she's involved in. Or maybe she does. Maybe she's an alien. Maybe she's drinking baby's blood and she's hanging out on Epstein Island and she's not even really a human. Or maybe she's a cute little girl that they're using and she may or may not regret this one day. But I'm sure she's making beaucoup bucks off of this. Go ahead. We just love these tweets. Please keep reading, Fauci. And is it Veronica Rodrigo? Olivia Rodrigo.
Did anyone else spend their Friday afternoon driving to their second vaccine appointment and crying to Olivia Rodrigo, or was that just me? Hey, I love that. I'm so happy that I'm soundtracking your vaccine appointment. That's great. That makes me very happy.
PPL made fun of these Dr. Fauci prayer candles, but we got my dad one for his birthday in November. So he lit it every night, and everyone in my immediate family was fully vaccinated, so maybe there's something there.
I need like a Fauci candle and the Fauci bobblehead right next to each other.
All right. You guys think I'm joking when I talk about these godless pieces of you-know-what, trash, feces, filth? This is the problem with our country. We are godless. They're selling Catholic Fauci candles. You understand, like they light candles with the Mother Mary, right? With saints, Mother Teresa. They light candles with real biblical heroes. Most notably, Mary, Mother of Jesus. That's what Catholicism is. They're making Catholic candles of Dr. Fauci because progressivism, COVID-19, anti-racism, climate change, these are all arms of this new age religion of worshiping government. And it's, again, the beginning of the end. I'm telling you. Play tape. That's the scariest one.
Wear your mask and get your vaccines. I need to see Olivia Rodrigo live in concert in the first row. Get your vaccines. I'm so excited to tour one of these days. And I'm just so excited to go to a concert, aren't you?
I agree. I want to go to a concert for sure. Yes. For sure. If I tell you the greatest concert that I've ever been to, you're going to faint. Because the reason is I'm so old, it goes back to the late 1950s at the Paramount Theater in New York City, which was a Motown concert with the Temptations, the Four Tops. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm a really old guy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible how old you are. All right, and let me tell you something. Biden did the same thing with them. Let me tell you something. Anytime, and Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, the current governor of New York, who's about to get out of trouble with all this stuff when he was telling girls, oh, you know, I'm so old, I can't, find someone. And Biden and Fauci, when they start telling these super good-looking teenager or young 20-something-year-old girls how old they are and joking around about it, there's one reason they're doing it. They want the girl to say, oh, no, you're not old, or something like that, to give them some sort of affirmation or opening the door for them to, flirt some more with them. That's the tactic. And that's what Fauci's doing. He's saying, oh, I'm so old, you'll never believe this. And he's looking for the, oh, no, you're not old, Mr. Fauci. Oh, my God, you know what? Maybe we could get married or something. But what does she say? She's like, oh, my God, you are old. You went to a concert in the 1950s. Holy cow. Play tape.
Happy Man Crush Monday to this hero. Thank you, Dr. Fauci, for all your hard work. We appreciate your intelligence, honest, bravery, compassion. We love you. Well, that's very nice to say that.
Do you know what Man Crush Monday means?
No idea.
Okay, tell them what that means.
Man Crush Monday is just like on Mondays people will like post a picture of their boyfriends and they'll be like, oh, Man Crush Monday, this is why I love you. So it's a big compliment.
All right, well, whatever it takes. If Man Crush Monday makes you get vaccinated, go for it.
Are these chills from my second dose of the vaccine or from listening to Deja Vu by Olivia Rodrigo for the big numberth time today? Oh my gosh, I hope they're from Deja Vu.
Well, that person brings up a good point that I think we should let people know. When you get vaccinated, if you get particularly the 2-dose vaccine, after the second dose, you can sometimes feel fatigued, maybe a little chilly. That's a good thing because when your body has that reaction, that means your immune system is revving up and making a really good response against the virus.
Yeah, I had the same thing after my second shot.
You did?
I just took a little nap and I was like fine a couple hours later.
All right.
Got home at...
I think that's enough of that. I mean, yeah, Fauci's telling you when your body starts to feel like it's rejecting something or you get really sick, it's a good sign. It means your immune system is building up. Okay, Fauci, I'm not going to trust my body. I'm going to trust you from now on. Anyway, that wraps up, what is it, like 5 hours of coverage this weekend on the Johnny Brew Show? I hope you liked my little comedy hour. That was more brevity than all the seriousness I've been talking about for the past 5 hours. But that's it. That's a whole nother weekend. Please, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about Olivia Rodrigo get the vaccine. Let me know what you think about Ouchie Fauci or Psaki or Kamala or Biden deciding what you can post. Tell me what you think about the inflation. Tell me what you think about the CCRP. Tell me, I want feedback. I love it, guys. I eat it up. All right? Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please have a friend subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please start a ghost account and then subscribe again to The Johnny Brew Show. Check me out on Facebook, The Johnny Brew Show. Guys, just go to any search engine. Facebook, YouTube, Google. Type in The Johnny Brew Show. All right? And also check out Common Sense Nevada. Guys, I'll see you on Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Spring Valley High School for the CCRP meeting. We'll be there with robslist.org. Come up, drop a comment there. Let me know what's up. I really appreciate all of you. Anything you guys want me to follow up on, I will. Next week, we have a visitor. I forget who it is. I think next week we have Thomas Heck. And I think the week after that, we have Danielle Ford, CCSD trustee. I could be right. I could be wrong. Who knows? Either way, I know you guys are going to watch every episode because we give you all the coverage you need. Thank you so much for watching. Hit me up, 702-682-9983, TheJohnnyBruShow at gmail.com, Common Sense Nevada, The Johnny Brew Show Facebook page, The Johnny Brew Show YouTube page, and The Johnny Brew Show on any podcast that you get your podcast from. My name is John Brookhagen. It is my pleasure to bring you the unbiased, conservative-leaning news. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday, and I'll see you next weekend.